Hey guys, it's John from physicalliving.com, and in this video I'm going to be comparing the competition kettlebells from kettlebellsusa.com with the competition kettlebells from kettlebellkings.com. I did a very comprehensive kettlebell review last year where I compared 14 different kettlebells, competition kettlebells from 9 of the major brands, and these two companies were my top 2 choices, and so I wanted to do a compare and contrast review where I talk about some of the subtle differences between them. Some of you guys have asked me about the grips and the finish and some other questions, and so I thought I'd try and elaborate a little bit more and hopefully steer you one way or the other. Generally speaking, I think that pretty much everybody who's interested in buying kettlebells would be well served with either of these companies. They have a lot of different great models. They've got good prices, great customer service, both of them. Great customer policies like return and refund and warranty policies. And so you really can't go wrong with either company, but there are some minor differences between their kettlebells, and so I just wanted to kind of blab about that a little bit, and hopefully something I say is helpful for you. So first I'll tell you what we have here. These are all competition kettlebells. They're all different weights. They're from 2 different companies, and they're also all different models. So these are both from Kettlebells USA, but they're different models, they're different styles, different designs. So on your far left, this one from Kettlebells USA, the 12 kilogram blue model, is one of the Paradigm Pro Classic models. It's Kettlebells USA option for more of a budget-friendly competition kettlebell. So if you want a quality kettlebell from a good company, but you want to save a little bit of money, or perhaps you just want a kettlebell just for training and a different model for competition, this is what you generally go with. So that's the Paradigm Pro Classic model from Kettlebells USA. The purple one here, 20 kilograms, is also from Kettlebells USA, and this is their Paradigm Pro Elite model. So this is their premium Cadillac, really nice kettlebell. And in my opinion, this is probably the best kettlebell I've ever used. So I'm a little biased. I'm going to try and get rid of my bias for this review to hopefully help you as best I can, because you might be better served and like one of the models from Kettlebell Kings even better than this one, or another company. There's lots of other great kettlebell companies out there that make really high quality products that are in league with these as well, and so there's lots of good options out there. So those are the kettlebells from Kettlebells USA, budget-friendly model, premium model. Here are the kettlebells from KettlebellKings.com. On the outside is their budget-friendly model. I believe it's called their Steel Standard models. Their competition Steel Standard models, and this is their budget-friendly option. This is a 20-pounder. Their budget-friendly kettlebells come in 5-pound increments between 20 and 60 pounds. So you don't have quite as big of a selection as you do with Kettlebells USA, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just supposed to be telling you what these are. So this is the Steel Standard model from Kettlebell Kings, and this is the Kettlebell Sport model from Kettlebell Kings. So this is their premium, really high quality kettlebell that they offer. And these are 2 of the best kettlebells that money can buy, in my opinion. So that's what we've got. Let's talk about the differences between them. I already mentioned that these are only available in 5-pound increments up to 60 pounds, whereas the Kettlebells USA budget-friendly model has a full selection of weights available. So you do have a greater selection here, and in standard weight increments, 8, 12, 16 kilograms, and the in-between sizes as well, I believe, if my memory serves me. So there's not that much I want to say about the budget-friendly models in this review, because mainly I think it's no contest, in my opinion. In every different category that I measured, quality, fit, finish, handle, all the different areas that I tallied up to compare all the kettlebells in my review, the budget model from Kettlebells USA outperformed the budget model from Kettlebell Kings. So if you're looking for a budget-friendly model from a great company that produces high-quality products, go with the Paradigm Pro Classic model from Kettlebells USA. It's definitely a superior kettlebell, at least comparing just these 2, because I only have these single samples from each company, and your mileage may vary. They could send me another kettlebell from Kettlebell Kings and it could be different, but for the purpose of this review, with my experience, you're gonna be better served by Kettlebells USA in the budget competition kettlebell category. So now I want to talk about these two premium kettlebells in the middle, where they're both really nice kettlebells. It is not no contest. Like, these are really nice, and 99% of people would be probably totally happy with either one of these companies, either one of these models. So there's three main things that I want to focus on, and that is the type of steel that they use, the handle, the grip, shape, and dimensions, and the finish. And I'm not going to talk too much because there's not that much to say. But when it comes to the steel that they use, the steel is definitely different, very distinct. And with the Kettlebells USA Paradigm Pro Elite in particular, they use a high tensile strength steel. So it's a stronger steel, and it's a very different kind of steel than I've ever used on any other kettlebell before. I don't know if it's a proprietary design or what, but none of the other kettlebells I've ever used have had this type of steel. And what it results in when you're training with them is that the handle, the steel it's hard to describe because it's got a rougher feel to it, but it's also slicker, if that makes sense. So when my palms get sweaty, and I have not tested these in a humid summer here in New England yet, but when my palms get sweaty, the handle gets a little bit more slippery sooner on the Kettlebells USA model than it does with the Kettlebell Kings model. So it's got a rougher grip when it's dry, but when moisture comes into contact with it, sweaty palms, it gets more slippery faster. Whereas the model on the Kettlebell, the steel on the Kettlebell Kings model, it's smoother. It's just machined to more of a smooth finish, but it's more grippy than the one on the Kettlebells USA. So I don't know if that makes sense. It's hard to describe, but the kettlebell handle on the handle on the Kettlebells USA model, it's more of a rough machining process, but it's a little bit more slippery. Whereas the handle on the Kettlebell Kings model, it's more of a smooth machining process, but it's more grippy. And so if you want a kettlebell that where your skin grips it a little bit better, it's just more of a solid skin contact, then you probably want to go with Kettlebell Kings instead of Kettlebells USA. But if you train in an area, if you don't get sweaty palms, or you train in an area that's not very humid, or you're happy to use chalk, which all of these kettlebells take chalk really well, and if you're going to do any high rep training, you're probably going to need it no matter what, then this handle will work just fine. So that's the steel. Let's talk about the handle shapes now. So I've been using competition kettlebells almost exclusively since 2009, and the shape of this handle and the fit in rack position and overhead position, this is what I'm accustomed to. It's got a very traditional, conventional shape. It's what I'm used to, and so I prefer it for the vast majority of exercises. Just because it's what I'm used to, it's I guess that's what all that needs to be said. Whereas the handle on the Kettlebell Kings model, it's a little different. It's more angular, more of a 90-degree angle, if you will, and so it has a different feel in rack position and overhead position. Now, the fit and feel of a kettlebell is totally dependent on you, how you're built, your structure, the size of your hands, etc. It's very subjective, and so I'll just tell you what I've discovered when I'm using these, and that is when I'm using the Kettlebell Kings model for the traditional kettlebell sport exercises, cleans and jerks, snatches, I prefer this handle over this one. I think this one fits better in rack position and overhead position, and so when I'm doing those exercises, this one feels better. Whereas when I'm doing all the other exercises, most of the other exercises that you can do with kettlebells, swings, you know, there's so many different unconventional kettlebell exercises that you can do. I tend to prefer this one, and it's because the angles are not quite as sharp on this one, and probably also because it's what I'm more accustomed to. So if you're a kettlebell athlete, or if your kettlebell training is mostly the traditional kettlebell exercises, you'd probably, if your experience is the same as mine, you'd probably like the handle shape, the grip from the Kettlebell Kings model more than the Kettlebells USA model. Having said that, we're really, it's like comparing apples to apples here. There really isn't that big of a difference, and it's a very minor subjective issue. And this one feels, great for me in rack position and overhead position. It's just I have a slight preference for this one for those handful of exercises. And for pretty much everything else, I prefer this one. So that's the handle, that's the grip. I want to talk about the finish a little bit. There's not that much to say. There are different kinds of finishes. I'm not sure exactly what the processes are for each unique finish, but I do think that the finish on the Kettlebells USA models is probably a little bit more durable than from the Kettlebell Kings model. There's very little wear and tear that I've put these through so far, but I do think that the finish, it's almost like baked on there. I don't even know how they do it, but it just seems like it's going to hold up a little bit longer on these models. Then again, the finish on this premium model here, it's a great finish. There's nothing bad I can say about it. It's a great finish. It's just different. It's and probably more likely to get scratched or chipped than this one. But I'm really reaching here to find major differences between these kettlebells. I hope you can tell that. They're both great companies. They're all great kettlebells. I have a slight preference for the Paradigm Pro Elite model. In general, I think that the Paradigm Pro Classic model is the superior choice over the steel standard model from Kettlebell Kings if you're looking for a budget-friendly kettlebell. But all in all, like I said before, you really can't go wrong with either one of these companies. They're all great kettlebells, and so if you have any further questions about them, please feel free to hit me up, and I'll do my best to help you out. So I think that's all I'm going to say. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.